Welcome to Smarty Live videos. Today is an interesting topic, but first introductions. I'm Anne Smarty. I'm an SEO, social media community manager, editor, blogger. I've been in this industry for many years, so I've changed a lot of hats. I've seen it all. I've seen lots of Google updates. I have helped clients to recover from most of them. And today we have a very unique topic because it is so important, but it is not discussed enough in our industry. But first, April, thank you for joining me today as a co-host. I know you will have a lot of interesting questions for us, and I'm very thankful to have you today.
Yeah, thank you. Glad to be back again.
I do send a weekly newsletter with everything that's going on in SEO, AI, digital marketing industries. Please subscribe. You will know which topic we're discussing every week on these live events. Today is the topic that is crucial for SEO visibility, but not many people bring this up. I'm not sure why, maybe because it seems obvious for most SEOs, but not many businesses are aware of that. The biggest SEO signal, ranking signal, is freshness, and it's freshness of the site, on-site content, it's freshness of external signals, including backlinks, brand mentions, all of that. So I feel like there are a lot of business owners and website owners who come to me with one question: I'm losing steadily and surely I'm losing traffic. What can I do? And in most cases, the answer is the same. Your website is too stale. It might be one of the signals of Google is that in many cases, people build websites, get some backlinks to them, build content, and then just leave it to earn money, to have that passive income, as it's referred to in our industry. And it's probably a bad signal to Google. But it's not just that. Like, Google does need to know that you are an active business, you are actively promoting your site, you're actively contributing something valuable to the web. And without that, even if you manage to acquire backlinks from huge publications, from great sites, if you did this once and then stop doing anything, you will lose the traffic. And there are so many cases, and now that Google has those updates every other month, different updates, many people get confused and they come to me saying, hey, I think I got hit by helpful content, by co-update, by something. But then I look at their website and it's just not active enough. Sometimes even the old stale WordPress themes would be something that Google doesn't like because they do not provide good load time. They're not responsive enough. There is not good usability signals for mobile devices. So all of that also plays a role. So look at your website. Look how long ago did you update the theme or the layout or the content of the page, how long ago you were investing something into link building campaigns. Take a look, and that in most cases, if you were not actually hit and lost a lot of traffic during the update, this is usually the reason why you're losing those rankings. And this topic was brought up over at PopCon, which happened this year in Las Vegas. And we all agreed that even huge, powerful websites that were referenced by New York Times or any other huge media publications, if they have been stale for a couple of years, it looks like though that link equity is not working anymore, and you need something fresh on a regular basis. And to put this into some kind of actionable advice for a medium-sized website, I would say that the minimum, it should be about 4 to 5 fresh pieces a month. It could be updates to old content, it could be new content. I usually suggest doing a mix of both, because you do want to go back to your previously well-performing articles, update them, and republish them to new date if it's a good update, if it's something that you invested time in. And also researching new topics, new opportunities, what your competitors are doing with their content strategy, and creating new content every month is also very important. Link building, Again, this is an ongoing thing. You cannot rely on old backlinks. You need to regularly remind Google that you are good, that people are referencing you. This is, I think, the most important signal. It's not just how powerful those backlinks in terms of traffic, authority, it's also how fresh they are. And this is one of the most overlooked strategies in SEO, investing into fresh signals. And brand mentions, of course, which come with every good link building campaign. We, for example, do linkable asset campaigns on a regular basis for our clients. They always come with brand mentions, in new brand mentions, and we see the search volume for our brand clients' brand names increase with our campaigns. So this is also another important thing to keep in mind, that good links also bring brand mentions, and investing in good link building campaigns comes with higher brand visibility, which is also a huge ranking signal as well. So this was a quick reminder to the industry that stale websites do lose traffic, and not just because of competitors that are probably more active. It's also because Google does love everything fresh that is happening with the site, and that is a valuable signal for them. So with that, I know April and Susie, my team, my idea team, do have some questions for me that we've been collecting from, we've been brainstorming, we've been collecting from our listeners. So I'm ready for those. And go ahead, April.
Um, so in your newsletter, you mentioned like diversifying your backlink profile, and I was wondering, like, is it more valuable for SEO freshness and rankings to get links from like a wider assortment of websites, or rather than the same few websites repeatedly, even if like they're authoritative websites?
I think there is no one single answer to that. If
Mm-hmm.
you get fresh backlinks from a journalist who loves you, of course, I would take that. It's more about diversifying your tactics, I would say,
Mm-hmm.
going, not hitting the same thing again and again. It's going after building relationships in your industry, being out there in discussion boards, answering questions, or like Reddit or anything like that. So it's more about going, doing more than you are used to, because let's face it, Google does reevaluate backlinks on a regular basis.
Mm-hmm.
So you want to try different tactics to surprise Google with different ways you are getting heard, getting mentioned. And if one of those websites, for example, is gets into bad neighborhood and Google does not like those backlinks anymore, this diversity will help you to stay on top of search.
Mm-hmm. So how can businesses keep getting fresh links on like a continuous basis? What are some?
Yeah, this is a very good question, and there is no good recipe for that. Like I said, doing everything and anything you can to be out there, even not just active outreach, but also being in the community, answering Twitter questions, answering Reddit questions, being even in some interesting that's Quora, in some interesting that's Facebook. So being somewhere where your audience and link amplifiers are is important. We do have a strategic method that we ensure that our clients get new links on a regular basis, because our linkable assets rank in Google. So people who research the topic are always able to find those and link to the sources that are on our on our client sites. This ensures that there are new backlinks coming in on a regular basis, and they are all organic. We do not have to reach out for them anymore after our active outreach campaign, and those assets get backlinks again and again. But again, you cannot rely on just one linkable asset per lifetime of your site, because you need to diversify link targets as well. You need to create something new on a regular basis to attract those backlinks to different pages, to make it more natural to Google, to make sure that Google knows that you are doing something valuable on a regular basis. So it's not an easy strategy for sure. It's nothing that can be taken lightly, that I got a great tool, like free tool, for example, and it got all like 80% of my backlinks are going into that page. It's
Oh,
not efficient as well. You need to create
mhm.
something new and try new ways as well. So free tool, great. linkable asset, great, but keeping going is the most important thing, and trying different things and getting new links.
We have a question from Susie. How else can social media help generate fresh signals for SEO?
Well, it's a tricky question because Google would not give us a straight answer if they're using social media or not. There are a few confirmed partnerships that Google does have, so we know for sure that Twitter signals are great because they show up for branded searches, and the more updates you do for on Twitter, the fresher your search results are, your branded search results are, because Google pulls that from Twitter. We know Reddit is another social media network that Google has partnership with. So the more your brand is on Reddit, the more visibility it has to Google. It sends those signals. But I would also like to address indirect signals, because being in the community, being active and engaging with your customers, or like link amplifiers on social media, brings indirect value, because that's where your brand visibility is better. So people start searching for your name more, they start engaging with you more, they start mentioning your brand more on social media or public discussion forums and things like that. So the indirect values of being active on social media should not be overlooked. Even now, when I started getting more active on social media after I started my our agency, I noticed that there are more searches for my personal name as well. So people have started discovering me from names, like they see me update my update on social media, and they search for my name, and this sends a direct signal to Google about something, that hey, people are interested in this person or in this brand, so I need to look at that more and maybe assign some more signals to it. So it's not just about direct mentions on social media, it's also about being there and getting noticed, which brings more signals to Google.
That just reminded me of like something that I have done successfully in the past for social media clients would be like, I'll participate in like a Twitter chat. I think those are really fantastic for like connecting with people in your industry and getting your brand name out there. So I would participate in the Twitter chats and then gather quotes from the Twitter chats that were relevant to the topic, and then have a blog post with those quotes and linking to the social media accounts of the people who said them. And then I'll share that with them, like, hey, I really love it that you said this. Here's like, I featured it in this blog post, and that gets like spread around. So like that's like a fun and relatively easy way to engage with the
That is a
community.
great strategy. And back in the days, we were calling this ego baiting, when you mention someone and then tag them on social media, or even email them saying, hey, I mentioned you, I featured you, or even like do the visual quote of what they had to say and spread it on Instagram and tag them there. So there are so many ways to use this tactic, and it never gets old, because everyone
Yeah.
loves being mentioned. But that also comes with more benefits, like being mentioned by those influencers and being associated with them, because Google sees those links and knows that you're linking to some verified profiles, knows they are engaging back with you, and they mention your brand name. So all of that, if you do that consistently, is also a great way to get fresh signals to your site.
I mean,
Sure.
everybody wants to be heard and seen on social media. So if you can help them do that, then they'll help you back. Do links from social media even matter anymore for backlinks?
There is no answer to whether they ever mattered for backlinks, because it's something that this is the data that Google doesn't own per se, so I don't see them relying too much on that. I know back when Google Plus was around, we were all theorizing that those mentions and backlinks do definitely contribute to ranking algorithm, because why else Google would create a social media platform of their own to help generate alternative signals. Like I said, I would not focus as much about are these votes or are those considered to be backlinks. I would rather think this about as the branding strategy. And branding is one of the hugest signals for Google. If you can associate yourself with other brands and ultimately become a brand of your own, this what ensures consistently organic traffic, rankings, any Google update is the balance of signals. So if you can have weaker backlinks than your competitors, for example, but you may have better content and better brand visibility. And those two signals, I'm simplifying this, of course, there are like thousands of signals at this point for sure, but this is how Google algorithm works. There is a balance of all those signals, and Google assigns rankings for each signal, and whichever wins the, those rankings. So you need to do everything possible to ensure your brand visibility, and social media is great for that.
And just like from a user perspective, like if I go to a company's like social media and it's like pretty dead and hasn't been updated in a while, then I'm probably like a little bit less likely to trust that company or like want to do business with them or buy from them. So it's just all part of the big picture. Can AI be used to help generate fresh signals?
Indirectly, I'm sure there are more ways to use AI. How I do it, for example, I'm seeing a very great article of mine that hasn't been ranking for like 10 years, let's say, but it used to get great backlinks. It used to have great engagements and rankings. Because I've been blogging for like 20 years, there's a bunch of articles like that that I can update. So my first step would be copy paste that article or grab a URL and put it in Gemini or ChatGPT. Now I'm using both because I do have a suspicion that Gemini knows a little bit more about Google algorithm than ChatGPT. So I'm utilizing them both and kind of consolidate their advice into one direction. So I would copy paste that and ask, how can I make this article more helpful? How can I make it more up to date? What can I do to make it more engaging? Or what should I add to this article because it is outdated? Of course, I will do my own research as well, like search who is ranking for that query these days and what they are doing, and I would use that knowledge as well. But ChatGPT and Gemini are great additions to creating some fresh content as well. Or I would just, maybe yesterday I was editing, like proofreading an article for our client, and then copy pasted. It was talking about pros and cons of different solutions, and I copy pasted to Gemini and asked, and I created a table, a comparison table listing every solution, pros of every solution, cons of every solution, and examples of how it is accomplished in real life. And by the way, examples, Gemini came on its own. I just had to check if it's really like what I needed. But that's a great usability addition to your content that is already an update. It took me 1 minute to create a chart that would add value to my article. I would say AI is a great assistant in the process. You can also ask who I could reach out to with this content piece and just get some ideas as well. Not that it's where my research starts and finishes, for sure. I still would go on with more research, with my own brainstorming. Of course, I would search Google. So, but it's a good starting point. Or like when you're stuck, you can always ask Gemini, how can I make this article more helpful? And hopefully Gemini is using the same logic that Google is using when deciding on content helpfulness. AI is
Yeah.
definitely a good assistant in the process and makes updating content or creating new content much easier.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. It's definitely a good tool, supplement. So many businesses utilize expired domains to accumulate link equity. Is this effective, given those are not fresh signals?
Well, I know that works for some reason, despite what Google tells us. I know people are still using expired domains. The key is to use them correctly. because Google does not pass link equity unless it's very relevant to where you're redirecting that to. So you need to work on your domain, expired domain first before you redirect all the link equity. So it does work. I don't want to say, hey, this is like SEO myth and do not do this. We personally do not do this in our agency because we believe in fresh organic link equity that is built through great content visualizations, and we specialize in that. But if you find a great domain that is very relevant to your site and it has a lot of great backlinks and it hasn't been that for 10 years, I think this is key. If it expired recently and people do not need it, the owners, by all means try to utilize that. You may see very good results. I know that, I think it was Gary Ills, I don't know exactly how to pronounce his last name. This is a Google engineer. He told us a few months ago that 301 redirects expire. So if you set up 301 redirects, you do not necessarily need them for in 2 years unless you have broken links that prevent good user experience. So link equity is passed through those redirects and stays, if we believe what he's saying. So I feel like this is a good reminder to us that you cannot just buy an expired domain and rely on that link equity for the lifetime of your site. So it is something to keep in mind. I would definitely not focus my whole link building strategy on expired domains because there are no fresh signals associated with them. But like I said, if you find a great match, go ahead and invest in it. Just do not rely on it 100%. Diversify what you're doing for link building.
Definitely provide like genuine value too with your content, and I feel like that's the way to go for sure. Just beyond
Oh,
like
and
those
on a
little.
regular basis. One mistake that we are seeing with clients is that they have us build a great linkable asset. They we promote it for them. We get fresh signals for that in terms of brand mentions, backlinks, social media engagement, and then they stop doing anything because they're so happy. Like, hey, we got all those great links. We can just live on those for years, and that's
Mhm.
not the case. Unfortunately, you have to create recurring linkable content. You have to keep reaching out to people in your industry or outside of it, getting those backlinks and
Mhm.
putting your content in front of them. So it never stops, because when you start seeing decline in the rankings, it's a little bit too late at this
Yeah.
point. You're already stale. Google does not visit your site as often as you would like it to, and does not reevaluate your ranking signals as often as it needs to. So it's a little bit too late. It's better not to get your site abandoned on stale for a while and then try to revive it. The best approach is just to keep working on it on a regular basis, to create that routine that ensures that you have fresh content and fresh backlinks.
Definitely. I feel like the clients that we've had for the longest, who've gotten like the most linkable assets from us, are like definitely they're reaping the rewards for sticking to it for so long. Great point about linkable assets. Do you think existing assets should be updated to renew freshness?
In many cases, yes. And I think we have a few clients that we update their linkable assets on a regular basis because they have something to do with the laws, or like something
Mhm.
that's changing on a regular basis. So my philosophy behind this is, in most cases, create new linkable assets.
Mm-hmm.
But if one of those linkable assets perform particularly well, and you see that there is a huge interest in that topic in the media or bloggers industry, and it's changed, like something has changed, there is something new about this topic, by all means update it and republish it and do another outreach, another promotion for it. Chances are, if it did well a year ago, it will do even better this time, because you know who to reach out to now. You know how to position this linkable asset on Reddit, on social media. So it is definitely something you need to do. but only if there was a real update, because you cannot go with the same thing to other journalists in case there's nothing new to tell. It's better to
Mm-hmm.
explore more topic, more angles, more linkable link opportunities with new content.
So like if you have a page that's like continuously getting a lot of traffic still, like a couple years out, like is it worth it to update it, or if it's still getting that traffic, should you just like leave it alone?
I'm a very cautious SEO. So my advice to clients is usually do not try to fix what's
Mm-hmm.
not broken. So if there were no loss in rankings, I would not touch the page. If it's getting backlinks, I would definitely try and get more backlinks to this page, because I see that it is useful and people love linking to it. So
Mm-hmm.
ongoing outreach for that page is definitely yes. But unless there is anything alarming with it, like if it's not losing traffic or if it's even growing, I would not touch the page unless there is something something broken
Right.
with it. You never know. Like you can just hurt
Yeah,
its
that
visibility
makes sense.
by touching it. So by all means, continue building links to it or reaching out to it, but do not touch it unless you see a very bad trend happening with the page.
Mm-hmm. I'm assuming Google uses some kind of signals to confirm a brand's memorability, especially for their standpoint. That was,
Probably. The thing is, with Google, it never told us anything about how they evaluate brands. There's no clear instructions for them saying, hey, this is good, this is bad for your brand, and things like that. So we do know, definitely we do know that Google uses branding, and we've seen that with some of our linkable assets. We started promoting one of the startups in the construction real estate business area on Reddit. So there will be many clicks and searches for that brand. And within 2 weeks, I saw for that brand name, when I searched for that brand name, that the suggested search, the related search terms that show up for just about any search, they started showing big, huge brands in real estate industry that Google started associated with our client. So those are the best signals that you're looking for. Searching for that, if the more people search for your brand, the better, because again, Google looks at that as well. If there is a search volume behind the brand name, Google starts understanding that's a brand. And that's where social media, Reddit are very helpful, because people see
mm-hmm.
that brand and get curious enough. Even like social media ads help with brand searchability as well, because many people, including myself, when they see an ad on Facebook, I would go and search for that brand to make sure it's trustworthy. So getting brand mentions is great. How exactly,
Mm-hmm.
what's the level for Google? Hey, this is the brand when 100 people searching for it in search results or things like that. We don't know those answers, but
Yeah.
definitely branding is key to search visibility and brand associations. Like when you get associated with other entities, this is the best signal that you can get, and that's usually happens through links, through mentions, when you are linked alongside other known entities, when you are discussed. So all those are great for visibility in Google.
Mm-hmm. I think like creating unique content that those big brands haven't made and having it perform well on Reddit and social media is big factors, like to have it like this, the small brands rise up to be among the big ones. So
Yeah,
definitely unique content is
yeah.
very important.
It's funny, I just saw a LinkedIn thread yesterday which was talking about a small brand that has managed to outrank Amazon and other huge brands in Google. And guess what? That was our client, which I cannot mention. But I was so happy to see like some SEO community was discussing like, hey, these guys are much smaller than Amazon. How can they rank number one above Amazon? I'm like, I know how. But in any case, we one more question, and this is Lisa's question on
Really
how
good one.
long you statistics to decide to update a piece of content, 3 months, 6 months, or longer. Thanks. Usually, it's a very slow decline in rankings, so you would not see it unless it's 6 months for sure. So you will not notice anything going on with the piece unless it's been 6 months. So usually I do compare, like I do that comparison in Search Console. That is very easy to do. You just go to search performance, you click compare option, and you select 6 months, and Google will show you exactly which of your articles are losing traffic within those 6 months. So that's probably my answer to that, unless there has been any um, update that impacted search visibility of a particular website. Then you don't need such a huge time frame. You can see like within 3 months or even 1 month that some parts of the site lost a lot of visibility. But usually I would say 6 months is what I use for finding content that is slowly but steadily is losing rankings and may need some work.
Brand is crucial to search visibility. I love it.
Yes,
Okay.
exactly. It is. It is. And it's not just huge brands. That's the point. That's the point I'm trying to make here. You do not have to be a huge brand to count. You can just be a regularly mentioned and steadily growing brand to achieve higher visibility in organic search. So it's for smaller businesses, it is as important as for larger businesses to just keep people mentioning you, searching you, getting backlinks, getting brand mentions around the web. That is what counts. That is this continuous progress. And it will not just help you in search, it will help your conversion rate, it will help you viral marketing, it will help you word of mouth marketing, it will help you on so many other levels that, trust me, this is a very worth time activity to just keep investing into those recurring signals, because they will bring other benefits as well. And AI platforms will be more likely to mention you in their answers as well, because they use the same data Google is using. They're using what we are talking about, what people are writing about, what people are discussing on social media, what people and searching as well using their platforms. So that will also help in the future when more and more people will use those generative platforms to find answers, to find products, to find brands, to research brands. All of that activity that you consistently been doing for a while will help you get visibility through those platforms as well. So definitely just keep doing that, make it a routine, hire us for summit part. We can
I was
help
just
on
gonna
many levels.
I was just gonna say, like, Reddit things doing content performing really well on Reddit. It's also an excellent way for like small brands to stand out. So that's another reason to hire us, because we're
Exactly.
the Reddit experts.
That is a definitely low hanging fruit opportunity, because not so many brands can do it unless they work with us. Uh, so not many brands, because Reddit is very hard to figure out. But so when you are trying to do that on your own, or you hire someone else, not us, then you risk being blacklisted on Reddit or being called out on Reddit by by their users. So it's a great platform if only if you know how to utilize it carefully but effectively. And this is something we can help, and it definitely, we've seen it a lot. It does help with brand visibility and backlinks a lot.